Bishop Oyedepo said, "You don't grow big to manage well. You manage well to grow big." Welcome to Aanu's Growth Series, Episode 14. I'm going to be talking today about something that is quite important, something that is quite, I don't even know if I should use the word controversial, but yeah, we're going to be sharing some truths. And the title of today's episode is Money and Mindset. What is money? We all know money, right? Money is a means of exchange. That's literally what money is. I was watching a video on Masterclass, and then I didn't even know it was just as recent as possible, as recent as 1970s, that money used to be backed by gold. So the amount money is actually just a paper they give to you based on the amount of gold that you have in the bank. Maybe I'm not saying it well, but I'll probably research a little bit on it. But yeah, money used to be tied to gold. So if they say you have $1,000 or you have $2,000, what that means is that you have $2,000 worth of gold in the bank, and then they are giving you a note to use to spend everywhere. To say, so if you have $2,000 in the bank and you have $500 notes, and you go use that $500 to buy a mobile phone, what it means is that you are taking that note, it's just a paper, to the place where they sell mobile phone, to say, I have $2,000 of gold in the bank, worth of gold in the bank, take $500 worth out of it and give me this mobile phone. And I think that's going to, especially for Gen Zs, right? That's going to help us a great deal on how we think about money. Money is just a means of exchange, but money is actually tied to value. That's just it. You want to buy a flight ticket. The reason why some people may not be able to afford flight tickets or a vacation, and some people are able to afford it, is because they have enough amount of gold in the bank. Although that does not, they discontinued that because they needed to print more money. I don't even know which government of the US. I'll find that masterclass video for us, although it's a paid subscription. But where I'm going is that money, if you think about money that way, then I think everyone is going to have a great mindset about money. Gold is actually what they use to measure how much you're worth, not the paper you carry everywhere. The paper is just a means of exchange. That's just it. It's just the paper. Now, I know we all have needs. You have to pay rent, you have to buy, like I said, mobile phones, you have to buy a laptop. You have to do a lot of things with money, and you now ask yourself, is it wrong if I pursue money? Is it wrong if I find enough money to meet my needs? I'd say that's a very controversial, a complex question, because money, or the lack of it, is not a resource problem. Like I mentioned, it's a value problem. If you are not providing enough value, you shouldn't expect to have that much money. And I think we've discussed it at length in our first 13 episodes, and maybe we should just focus more on this episode on the mindset of money. Now, money multiplies because you steward money well. It multiplies because you steward money well. So the more you manage money well, the more your money increases. I was just listening to Pastor Sam Adeyemi, and he did mention the Parkinson's law. And Parkinson's law actually states that work is going to fill the amount of space you put into it. So for example, if you say I'm going to do this amount of work in 8 hours, you discover that you are eventually going to do that work in 8 hours. If you say I'm going to do this same amount of work in 1 week, you discover that you get to do that same amount of work in 1 week. That also applies to money. If you tell yourself I'm going to spend so amount of money this month, everything around you is going to obey that decision of yours. And I want us to have that in mind, especially as Gen Zs. And if we don't learn how to manage something like money, we will not even be able to keep all the great works that people that have gone before us have done. Increase in its response to management. How do you manage money? Increase does not respond to desire. The fact that you desire it does not mean you will have it. Just like they usually say, if wishes were horses, beggars would ride. No, increase does not respond to wishes. Increase actually responds to what we have decided to do. And we talked a lot about decision. Right now, I want to tell you a story, my life story, of course, but let me just touch a bit about why many struggle with money. How come it is that you want money but you don't get it, apart from talking about value, right? Some of us provide value, but we don't even know how to manage our money. Even if you're a student and you make maybe $300 a month, what do you do with the $300? Do you just spend it all? Do you look for the latest bag that is trending and buy it? Do you look for the latest gadget and buy it? What do you do with it? Many people struggle with money because they want increase without structure. You want increase without structure. Now, my mother-in-law, she's still very much alive, and I'm hoping she's going to watch this video. She has a gift. That gift is the gift of arranging. If you want to travel, just beg her. She's going to arrange your box in such a way that you'll be like, where did all these my clothes go? They are in the box. That is structure. If you structure your life, then you discover that what you have is actually enough. Your container is enough to carry what you have. Don't forget about that. Now, I remember, I think about 14 years ago, I started looking for more money. Guess why? I was like, I need to make more money. I need to make more money. Guess why? I landed into debt. And it's so funny that what happened was my wonderful friend, Adeola, I hope he watches this video. He's not a Gen Z anyways. We used to live together. He had a much better paying job than me then. And then what happened was I would go into the month with my salary, and half into the month I'd finished my salary. Then I would borrow half of my salary from my friend so that I can live for the rest of the month. And then at the end of the month, I was going to, when the salary comes, I'm going to pay him that money that I borrowed from him. And then half of the month, I'm going to borrow more. That was how I landed into debt. Now it's small money, but it was like 2.5 times of my salary, my monthly salary then. So that means for me, I couldn't even afford to live on the salary. Now I am owing somebody 2.5 times of my salary. And I came in contact with, I think she even shipped it to me, Joyce Mayer's book. The title is My Personal Notes on Finance. I think I opened my email one day and she said she was shipping books for free. I was living in Nigeria then, and she was giving a book for free. I entered my address and the book came all the way from the US to Nigeria. My Personal Notes on Finance. And I also came in contact with Robert Kiyosaki's, I think it was a workbook on the cash flow quadrant. I read those books January of the new year, and I told myself, I'm going to get out of debt. So first of all, and those are the things I'm going to be talking about in this video, I had to tell myself, based on the things I've read from that book, spend less than you earn. you are earning this amount of money, it's not enough. But Aanu, your truth right now is that money must not only be enough, you have to set a percentage to start paying your friend every month, and you must not borrow again. You also now start having to save as little as possible. No matter how little it is, you have to. And like I said, Parkinson's law, the space available was actually filled. So from my meager salary, I put an amount of money aside and started paying my friend. I told him, I don't want to borrow from you anymore. And I started paying him the money every month. It was small. I wish I could put in the values, but I know the values are in Naira. It may not make, and a couple of people watching this are no longer in Nigeria or something. I started putting a little. I think what I was paying him was like, what I was paying him would take me 24 months, like 2 years to finish paying off the debt, or 2.5 years. Right? So like if I was paying that amount every month, if I was faithful with it, I would have to wait 2.5 years to finish paying him. But I was like, this is me learning how to be disciplined. So I started paying him little by little, and telling myself, okay, 30 months to go, I've paid this month, 29 months to go. Number one, I'm no longer in debt. I'm no longer borrowing extra. Not like I wasn't in debt, I was still in debt. Number one, I was no longer borrowing. Number two, I started saving. And this is where when I heard that Bishop Oyedepo's quote, I literally hit my head. You don't grow big to manage well, you manage well to grow big. And then I started managing well. And that money that was not enough, surprisingly, I was able to meet my own monthly needs. Of course, I had to cut down on a lot of things. I had to say no to a lot of people. I had to make a couple of enemies. You know, in Africa, there's this thing they call black tax, right? I had to be a little bit less nice. And that's also because I heard Samadi Emi talk about, if you think you are El Shaddai, you would eventually discover that your name is I Shaddai. So I decided I'm not anyone's El Shaddai. And Samadi Emi also said there are people I'm trying to help. You jumping in and helping them is not making them to learn the lesson I'm trying to teach them. So you are distorting my plans, because they will not become great because they know they can always get from you. So I cut on a lot of things, and good thing, that was in January. By May, I bought my first fridge. As somebody that finished the university, already started working, this was 2 years. 2 years, right? 2 years or 1 year into my postgraduate work experience. I'd already started working. I think 2 years. After 2 years, I bought my first fridge. I can't forget. I bought a 40,000 naira. I was just like, wow! From being a debtor to be able to afford my own fridge, wow! And that was the beginning. And then I learned that I have to manage money. I started doing my budget. So if you check my computer now, I have my budget from as far back as 2013. I have a budget. I have an Excel file that I use to make my budget every month. This is the expected income. This is the expected amount I'm spending. This is the savings. This is investment. This is kingdom partnership. As a Christian, you have to give. This is my tithe. And the budget is there. If you watch this video and you want to say, I can show you my 2013 budget. I surely won't show you the current one, because what I earn is way more than that, right? But yeah, you are happy to come see. But what I'm trying to say is that taught me a lesson. And guess what? After I bought my fridge, I bought a TV, I bought cable television. Somebody that did not have enough and was borrowing, I started acquiring things, right? And guess what? I was supposed to pay my friend back in 30 months. He graciously agreed. It's like, yeah, just keep paying. I paid him in 10 months. From 30 months payback period to 10 months. That's what happens if you put your mind at something. If you become financially disciplined, if you change your mindset about money, instead of having a scarcity mindset, tell yourself, what I have is enough if I manage it well. and I will keep growing. So what now happened was, I'll talk about Sam Adeyemi a lot today because his messages have trained me a lot, right? He did say something, but you need to be disciplined. Don't compare lifestyles. Don't compare yourself with your friend. Everyone has their journey. Maybe this you have a part 2, or maybe this thing we're doing, the round table we're doing, we should talk more about it. I feel so passionate about this because it's my personal story. It's my journey. The fact that you have more money does not mean you should spend it. If you don't have anything to do with it, be looking at it. I'm like, what? It's possible to have money and just be looking at it? So I started growing in my software development experience life, and I started making more money. And then as I was making more money, I was applying the same principles. Pay your tithe, pay the people you owe, save. And as you see, I started now buying television, buying this, before I got my big break with a job at the United Nations, and boom. And the good thing was I'd already lent it, so I was still living under my old salary, and then the rest, which was like a whole lot of money, just became massive around me. I bought my first car just 1 year and a half after making that decision. 18 months after making that decision to become more financially disciplined, I bought my first car. Now, instead of me to spend 30 months paying a debt, I paid off the debt in 10 months, and then I bought my first car 8 months after that, debt free. Can you imagine? Need to be faithful in little. Someone gives you $200. What's the first thing that comes to your mind? Funny enough, yesterday I was in church and God asked me, the Holy Spirit asked me and said, if you make $10 million today, what are you going to do with it? I said, I'm going to invest. And the Holy Spirit said, don't ever make that kind of mistake again. The first thing you're going to do with it is to remove your tithe. And I asked myself, wow, $1 million in tithes. Who will take it? $1 million in tithes. But yeah, that story for another day. Just so you know that God is still working with me. I obviously have not paid a tithe of $1 million. I have tried in a couple of ways, a couple of $1,000 in tithes, but I haven't gotten there. I have not paid $1 million in tithes. But yeah, that means my mindset is now, even if I make $10 million, I can pay $1 million in tithe. $9 million will be enough for me to do all the investing I want to do anyways. But God will help us. That's a topic for another day. Giving wisely. You also need to give. I didn't say don't give, but give wisely. Give with a budget. Have a budget. Have a budget. Don't give out of impulse. Don't give because your community is giving. I had a principle. I still have it. If anybody asks me for money, my budget is usually done 15th of the month. If you don't ask me before 15th of the month, forget it. It's until the end of the next month, no matter the emergency. Anyways, but that doesn't mean I don't have a pool of money I put aside for emergencies and all of those things, right? But if it's a major investment, you have to wait. Handle small amounts well. Keep records. I told you I keep records of my budget. It's there. It even helps me to be grateful. Like from earning $400 a month and managing it so well to what I currently earn now, God has been faithful. But I wouldn't know if I'm not keeping records. Also, learning to say no. You have to learn to say no. Not yes to everything. If you don't have it, you don't have it. There's nothing like reputational damage. If you don't have it, that means you don't have it. You don't even have the reputation to give. So stop giving a fake image. Wow. Okay. Remember Joseph in the Bible? Joseph, he taught about managing. He was a tutor on managing. He literally taught Pharaoh. He said, put a fifth aside. Put 20% in savings. And 20% in savings per year helped them to be able to manage 7 years of famine. You can be that person in your life and people around you. You know, we talk about you becoming a global influence. You cannot become a global influence if you don't have your financial life sorted out. God promotes stewards, not spenders. No, you are not. If you are a spender, you are not adding value. And also remember the parable of the talents. The person that got 10, he added value, he got 10 more. he was given 10 more. The person that got one and kept it in the ground, the one what he had was taken from him. Before I go, I want to talk a little about Gen Z money traps. Don't fall for soft life pressure. Oh, nice. I want to live a soft life. Wait till you make the money. Social media spending, no, don't even do that. Don't do that. I bought iPhone 17 so I can show my friends. Who will pay for it? Lifestyle inflation, Parkinson's law we talked about. Don't inflate your lifestyle. Still, even if you make more money, live within that means and structurally grow. That's what is going to help you. Else you're going to land in a lot of debt, and God does not want that for us. Remember to save. Read the book The Parable of Dollars. He helped me when I first started making my first thousands of US dollars. When I made my first $1,000 of US dollars, first thing came to my mind was, I'm taking my wife and my daughter then to Dubai. We went to Dubai, went to enjoy life. I'm like, this suffering is too much and everything. But thank God I read that book, because it was from that book I discovered, don't spend it all. Save. Now, reading as somebody that has made money, not somebody in debt, right? Save. And I decided to save. You can't believe I started saving. From there, I started buying lands, plural now, lands. So we have properties in a couple of places now. Some of them even make us money back. Imagine. Read the book, learn, build quietly before broadcasting, and don't spend all you earn. Don't spend all you earn. Don't chase money as well. Chase value. Chase mastery. I have a question for you. Can God trust you with more? Reply in the comment section. Can God trust you with $10 million? Reply in the comment section. Or let's make it more interesting. What are you going to do with $10 million? What are you going to do with $10 million? Until the next time, I'll see you. My name is Aanu Akinyera, and this is Aanu's Growth Series. Bye.